Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's Adam Warlock hasn't debuted yet major 4 differences to the comic character have already been revealed. Played by Poulter, the MCU's take on the Golden Gladiator from Marvel Comics is about to make his long-awaited live-action debut. Directly set up in the second installment in the trilogy, Warlock will make his first full appearance during the Guardians' upcoming encounter with the High Evolutionary. Adam Warlock's MCU origin is different to Marvel Comics. Regardless of what happens in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, his origin won't be the same as the one offered by the comics. That's because the MCU already explored his creation, courtesy of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was revealed in one of the movie's post-credits scenes that the golden-skinned aliens, known as the Sovereigns, led by Aisha, created Adam Warlock, who was meant to be the best of their species and their weapon against the Guardians. It's true that Warlock is a genetically engineered being, but this interpretation differs drastically from the source material. The comic book version of Adam Warlock was indeed born in a cocoon, but he's not a member of a race called the Sovereigns, who exist as an invention of the MCU. Originally, Warlock was one of a kind, with Aisha joining the Marvel Universe later. As for where Warlock came from, he was actually made by human scientists in a 1960s Fantastic Four comic, as opposed to aliens who look like him. A villainous group known as the Enclave envisioned him as the perfect human but soon discovered that he couldn't be controlled. Adam Warlock's MCU costume is different to Marvel Comics. He still has the gold skin and hair, but gone are his white, pupilless eyes, which have been replaced with eyes that look a bit more human. Plus, the costume itself has been significantly reworked as well. The original character sported a sleeveless look, complete with a yellow thunderbolt on the chest. He later added a red cloak with a skull-shaped clasp, which became a consistent part of his design. For the MCU, Marvel changed the cloak into a cape, but kept the skull clasp. The Thunderbolt, though, has been dropped completely. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 also adjusted his color scheme by darkening the red to crimson and removing the yellow altogether. Additionally, his costume is now made out of armor, whereas the comic hero wore a spandex suit. Now, the dominant color in his suit is gold, rather than red. One aspect of his look Marvel has elected to keep is the gem in the center of his forehead. Adam Warlock's powers will be different. Marvel's decision to keep the gem is surprising, especially when considering the fact that it can't be the one he has in his head in the comics. In the Marvel Universe, the gem in his forehead is none other than the Soul Stone. Since the MCU's Soul Stone was destroyed by Thanos, Warlock will have to go without it, no matter how important it is to his power set. In Marvel Comics, Warlock would unintentionally suck an opponent's soul into the Soul Stone, saving himself from harm and increasing his own power at the same time. This vampiric element of the Soul Stone was a side of it Warlock soon grew to hate, but he couldn't deny the weapon's usefulness in battle. With it in his possession, he could augment his own physical strength and emit powerful blasts of cosmic energy from the Soul Stone itself. Adam Warlock's biggest comic story can't happen in the MCU. It won't be feasible for the trajectory of Adam Warlock's storyline to match that of the comic character. Over the course of his comic adventures, Warlock discovered through his connection to the Soul Stone that it was just one out of a set of 6. This served as early setup for his arc in Infinity Gauntlet, the comic crossover that saw him fight Thanos, who had used the 6 Infinity Stones to erase half of all life in the universe. This proved to be the culmination of his story in the comics, but there's no way for it to happen without Thanos and without the Soul Stone. Because of the last 2 Avengers movies, Adam Warlock's biggest story has already been taken off the table ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Warlock has had many memorable arcs, but none top Infinity Gauntlet, which involved the hero rising from the dead to lead the heroes of the Marvel Universe in a desperate fight against Thanos. Years after dying and finding a happy ending in Soul World, Warlock returned and rallied the heroes to stop Thanos and reverse the snap. His victory over Thanos was ultimately what cemented his status as Marvel's most important cosmic hero, but an MCU version of the battle became an impossibility when Thanos launched his plan before Warlock could even be introduced.